against JulyZerg here at the MLG. The game is loading. Let's do this.
Who's this guy, Tasteless?
It's Sjow.
That was epic, man. Thank
Epic
you.
intro here.
Who's that guy?
It's July.
Oh, all right.
JulyZerg.
All right. Probably nothing special
Named
about
after
him.
a month. So, this is an interesting map. These spots are pretty close by air. This used to be a map where there were destructible rocks here where this Overlord is floating over. And if you follow that path over here,
yeah.
You'd see there would be destructible rocks here.
After time, those rocks solidified and no longer destructible.
As time passed on the map. No, but it was a problem because Terrans could just push through here and kill the Zerg's main.
Yeah, it was a hard map before, but it's a really good map nowadays. So
yeah, it really is.
I think it's a good choice for this next match, and I'm really excited to see what Sjow does with it. If this is the map that he wants to play, does he have like a timing push? Does he want to play a macro game? I'm not sure.
So, moving on in this game, how is JulyZerg going to play this? You know, he does do his all-ins. He does do, you know, all sorts of crazy stuff. He can macro. He's sort of a jack of all trade, if you will. So, it's going to be one of these situations where I feel like I know that Sjow is probably not going to scout. Maybe I'm wrong, but what is JulyZerg going to do to deliver?
I think that what we are about to see, Tasteless, is in fact a double barracks build, but maybe not. He has not sent out another SCV yet, and it should be arriving right about now. Notice his minerals right up at the amount that you need for a second barracks, and 2 barracks pressure is really great on this map, so maybe just a 1 barracks expansion. That's kind of interesting, because we don't normally see that. In the meantime, well, at least on this map, in the meantime, we do have a hatchery building for JulyZerg. No pool quite yet, still making a few drones. Probably will get his gas quite quickly as well.
Spawning pool on the way now for JulyZerg. And, you know, Sjow, he's a smart guy. He's got a lot of different strategies that have some surprise. Not as much with scouting, but, you know, with the way he picks what units he's going to bring in, you know, in the phase of the game. JulyZerg, this may be one of the few games where JulyZerg is going to have to react to his opponent more than his opponent reacting to him.
That is quite right. And look at this. He is going with the bunker. This is just kind of to draw drones down, make them lose some mining time. Of course, canceling that bunker will just make him lose 25 minerals, which is fine. These drones losing much more than 25 to come down here in battle.
And this is smart because even though this isn't like a rush that Sjow is committing to, as you said, yeah, these are drones that are not mining. He can just cancel this. It's a good move.
It is indeed. Now dropping a command center is Sjow. No gases yet. Just going to go ahead and go for an economy game. Now, will he work up? Ooh, double gas.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to tech up. I can't wait to see into what. I would love to see him try some sort of weird Banshee build again. That worked very well in July, and that's something that he's not normally that ready for. July loves his ground units early on, going mutas a little bit later normally.
Well, you know, when you're doing a build like this, you want to make sure this whole area is walled up, especially against somebody like JulyZerg, who I swear to God, you Baneling busts at least once in every best of 3.
It seems
no matter
that way.
what matchup it is, he'll do 1 base or 2 base Baneling.
Well, we see he's starting to spread that creep once again. No creep in between the main and natural, so that would make Banshees pretty good in this scenario as well.
I don't think we ever see JulyZerg actually get creep in between his 2 bases.
He does not creep much, actually. He is one of the Zergs that really ignores that, and I hesitate to say he's bad at creeping, but he's bad at creeping, man.
Well, I mean, you can compare this guy to somebody like Nesty, and you do see a difference, at least when it comes to spreading the creep.
Yeah, quite true there. Well, we do have the factory going up for our Terran player, Tasteless. And just 1 factory. So will he tech into siege tanks, or will we see a starport?
I am going to bet, at least at this point in time, it's going to be a Marine siege tank push.
Yeah.
He is going to be a tech lab. Do we have a starport anywhere? Generally, if they're going to swap the starport with the factory at the add-on, we'd see it put right next to that.
And Sjow is actually going to turtle up a little bit. Look at this, a bunker behind 3 barracks. He realizes that, hey man, JulyZerg is crazy. He might actually come up here with 20 Banelings and try to bust through here. I better have a bunker.
Now we have another extractor. Actually, every other extractor is going to be taken and a baneling nest once again being created. Back here at the factory, we see he's actually going to go for blue flame Hellions, and that's going to be pretty strong against a player who's going to open up with banelings in this case.
Combat shields as well. You have to wonder, is he going to try one of these little timing attacks? We've seen Marine King and some other Terrans do. I believe so, Tasteless. This is a great map for it because of that small choke into the expansion of Zerg. You actually get up there with some Blue Flame Hellions and a bunch of Marines, and then suddenly the Zerg has no surface area to actually destroy you.
And he can follow that up with a Spire here, July will. So this means he might only get the banelings for defensive purposes. He's not going to go like any kind of, for instance, Keurig style, what we've seen at the GSL.
No,
but you know, the problem is, if he does go for a bunch of Hellions and this attack is unsuccessful, well, with banelings in the game, you have to get siege tanks. But if you're getting siege tanks, that means you can't get a Thor to deal with the Mutalisks that would be made once the Spire is complete.
Well, right now, JulyZerg scouting out the main base of Sjow with that Overseer. He does see the factory. I do not believe he actually saw a Hellion pop out of it, though, so he probably thinks Siege Tank right now, and also saw the third command center of Sjow going up. So this is turning into something really cool. It looks like it's going to be a pretty heavy pressure build into a third base.
Uh-oh! Cornered the Hellions!
Oh no, JulyZerg catching those Blue Flame Hellions, and now the Marines as well. More Marines coming up. No stim, though, only combat shields. Does chase the Zerglings away, but those Zerglings were worth their weight in gold. Those Blue Flame Hellions were really the punch that this little harassment was packing.
Well, the whole point of getting the combat shields is so that the Marines can absorb damage while the Hellions deal it. And I can't believe my eyes. Sjow is actually going to continue to push out.
Well, he's going for another base up here that JulyZerg is trying to make. He wants to get his third up before JulyZerg. And he may get his wish. We'll see, though. More Zerglings coming down. 6
Mutalisks on the way as well. Any Marines he softens up are going to be pretty bad when those Mutalisks finally hatch.
Quite true, but he does take out all these Zerglings. More Zerglings on the way. That Blue Flame Hellion doing insane amounts of damage. But without the Marines there, that hatchery is going to be safe, even if all the Zerglings die.
One more Hellion left. He's continuing to run. Actually, he just gives up on it. And meanwhile, the Mutalisks are heading towards the Terran's base. One turret here, a second one on the way, but large parts of Sjow's base essentially undefended.
That is quite true. Going after this supply depot now. Sjow, in the meantime, sending some Marines up and expanding. If those mutas don't go down there and those turrets finish, that base will be pretty safe for a little bit. In fact, he's making a planetary. I really like this style that Sjow is showing us.
JulyZerg, a pretty ballsy move, just cuts right into the main. He wants to stay over the barracks so we can kill some Marines as they pop out, but probably somewhat unaware that there were more Marines on the way here.
JulyZerg doing really well droning, has 58 drones against the 47 SCVs, and right now just getting a lot of upgrades, making a ton of Zerglings and Mutas, but Sjow is really well defended. You know, he has a bunker at his natural. He has that third base super quick. And one thing I've noticed is that Sjow has not gone beyond his first 2 gases yet. He's really staying quite marine heavy, quite mineral heavy, and that's what's allowed him to actually get these turrets out, to get the planetary out, and to actually get his economy way ahead of JulyZerg's.
More mutas grouping together, a ton more Zerglings. And I got to say, JulyZerg's doing a better job of pushing the creep. Not quite as good as an ST, but, you know, JulyZerg has his own skill sets, his ability to harass, to read his opponent, to get inside of his opponent's head. And, you know, if Sjow doesn't get an additional base up and running, not just an extra orbital up and running, but in an extra expansion here, preferably here, JulyZerg can probably expand again. It could be pretty bad.
Yeah, you know, he is taking that 4th base. Sjow, though, it looks like he's going to get ready for a timing. He is making his starport. He's getting that reactor on it. He's going 2 factories for siege tanks. And once he has a healthy number of siege tanks, I do think we're going to see quite a strong push from Sjow. But he is behind supply-wise, 131 to 97.
Supply blocked, actually. That's not going to be good for him. Meanwhile, you know, this... Oh, excuse me here. We have a harassment attack over here. JulyZerg continuing to prod away at his opponent. If he gets his eBay, that'd be huge. That's upgrading armor here. It's in the red. Nice save by Sjow.
Yep, has to save that. And JulyZerg just going to take out these Marines. Sjow thinking that he can chase those away and going after the depots and engineering bay once again. A very nice harassment from JulyZerg. This is a huge pain for Sjow.
Mutalisks moving out now over the water. Sjow, again, though, pretty well defended here. And I think what you said earlier is correct, Artosis. We could see a pretty scary push coming here from this guy if he manages to get this far along and mass up that much. JulyZerg going to head with supply, but, a few siege tank shots on these banelings here, and that can change everything.
That is quite true. Another base is going up for JulyZerg as well. If you look on the mini-map, right there.
Right there.
Yeah, thank you, Tasteless.
No problem.
And just a baneling speed on the way, a bunch of banelings, +2 melee, +2 attack on mutas as well, and he is just making so many units right now. I think JulyZerg is about to switch over into that mode that he gets into where he never stops attacking you.
Yeah, I think he might start hammering away, potentially at this base, or he may wait for his opponent to take the 4th.
Well, we will see the mutas flying up now towards that natural expansion. Only a couple turrets there, so he can probably take those out very quickly if he chooses to.
Opting against doing so now, probably going to go back in here. This engineering base, somewhat of a focal point here for JulyZerg. He's doing a lot of upgrades, as you can see over here on the production tab, and he wants to make sure his opponent is not doing that, but Terran is now moving out.
Oh no, the Zerglings surrounding a lot of the Marines. The Marines trying to get back to the siege tank line, and a lot of them look like they will go down. Slow banelings making their way in.
And I don't know if July should have gone all the way in there with the banelings. Meanwhile, the mutas continuing to harass over here. And this is something that happens with JulyZerg, is eventually he just turns something on and he doesn't stop attacking. He just keeps hammering away at his opponent. And I don't know if Sjow is entirely equipped to deal with a Korean professional gamer who approaches the game like this as well as JulyZerg does.
Indeed, Tasteless. The mutas drawing Marines back in. In the meantime, JulyZerg making more mutas, more Zerglings, more banelings, just getting everything going. And Sjow may be stretched a little bit too thin here.
Indeed, Artosis. We see more and more banelings grouping up now. Sjow, this location over here, it's not very easy for Terran to take. This location can be easy, but Zerg can also get easy access to it here. So Sjow has to make a decision as JulyZerg continues to consume the map. Where is he going to step out to and try to claim as his own?
Well, right now, Sjow is making a couple Thors, getting that +1 attack as well. Looks like he's going to rely upon his mech units a lot. A lot of banelings coming out. JulyZerg is maxed, and well, if the switch hasn't been hit in his head when he maxes, that's when it goes, Tasteless. He is going to start attacking and just rally units over.